the real question to me, and the most important question, is there any smoking gun evidence? Is there any smoking gun evidence? Because the second you show smoking gun evidence, a lot of these peripheral conversations just don't matter anymore to me. Because the second you show smoking gun evidence, now you have every institution on the face of this planet with 8 billion people looking at this singular topic. And a lot of those discussions we like to talk about, that doesn't matter anymore. Honestly, you show us the smoking gun evidence. I don't give a damn about the UAP task force. I don't give a damn about AOIMSG. I don't give a damn about the new legislative language. I don't give a damn about how more money is going to the new office. Where is that evidence? Where is the 23-minute video that Elizondo has spoken about? Where is the video that Elizondo has spoken about where a video was taken 50 feet from the cockpit? Has the Congress seen that? Does that stuff actually exist? And maybe it doesn't exist, right? But if you look at the historical record, the UFO historical record, people have been coming out of the woodworks for decades saying the evidence exists, the data exists. When are we going to see that data? I'm actually getting angry just thinking about these little peripheral conversations we're always having when ultimately you show us the damn data and it's over. And then we can stop this nonsense. And I'm writing my little blog post about XYZJ8. I don't care about XYG853. Show me the damn data now. It doesn't exist or does it not exist? And then, and I'm sorry, I maybe I need to see a therapist, but I'm sorry, but it's like, listen. It's like, is this real, man? Right? Are people getting abducted? Are craft coming into people's faces? Are people seeing triangles every day and saucers and elliptical and spherical machines and all this stuff getting telepathic downloads? Like, are we nuts? Are we nuts? Who has the data? I want to know who has the data, who has the authority to keep the data from the rest of the people. Why are we living in the dark ages? For what? I don't think we understand the madness of this situation. I mean, this is madness on the highest level you could possibly imagine. We're all living out our lives pretending we're alone. We're all living out our lives pretending there's not an alien presence. And for me, just saying that, I look like a crazy lunatic. Well, I probably look like a crazy lunatic regardless of what's coming out of my mouth. But regardless, I'm just sick of it, man. I'm just sick of it. I'm just kind of all four of you are my therapists right now. I'm on the couch, and you are all my therapists, and I'm letting it out. And by the time this panel's done, I'm going to be like the Dalai Lama. You know why? Because you are my therapist. That's why, and I appreciate it. Thank you. Give me the damn data, baby. Give the Congress the damn data. If we are not alone, no more trickling. Spill the cosmic beans. So Dean Johnson, who is a really reliable source, stated in response to a Whitley Strieber article, in Mr. Strieber's linked article dated November 12th, he pretty much just rehashed the October 28th New York Times report and the October 31st Daily Mail report. In reality, neither the classified nor unclassified UAP report from the DNI has yet been delivered to the designated congressional committees. So as far as I can ascertain, the Congress hasn't even received the classified report yet, not to mention the unclassified report. Now, this delay is going on 15 days now, and I find that particularly interesting, simply because back in November 3rd, I interviewed James Fox, and he said that he was told by someone in the UAP task force that an announcement was coming originally he was told it would happen in late October. In my interview with him that was filmed on November 3rd, he said, well, it was originally going to take place in late October, which is when the UFO report was slated to drop. But then he said in the interview, and I'm going to show you that clip in a moment, something is changed. It's going to be delayed a bit by maybe a month to a month and a half. After I show you this clip, I'll tell you why I think this is significant and should be examined.
I think there's going to be some statements. I was told by the end of October. Now I was told that it was postponed slightly, maybe by a month and a half. But there are some statements coming that apparently will add credence to my film, this alleged crash retrieval from 1996 in Brazil.
Where were these statements come from? Were you given that information?
U.S. government.
So do you think it's the UFO report that's been that hasn't been made public yet? Do you think that's what your guy in the task force?
I could only speculate. I really don't know. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know, but it's a pretty reliable source.
So there is some corroboration to ascertain that there is a decent chance that his source was referencing the report, simply because he was told, I think at least in early October, that an announcement was coming based on his source that would drop in late October that would give credence to the crash retrieval incident he covered in his movie. And of course, that aligned with October 31st when the report was supposed to drop. The report didn't drop on October 31st. And at this moment, it's been 15 days delayed. So on November 3rd, by that point, at some point, he was told that the announcement that the U.S. government is going to make is no longer going to happen in late October, but it's delayed by a month or a month and a half. So either his source is referencing the UFO report, which seems very plausible, or an announcement outside of the UFO report, but will coincide with the UFO report. Either way, James Fox says that this person is a fairly reliable source coming from the UAP task force, and that it would give credence to the crash retrieval incident he covered in his film. So I don't know if this source of James is correct, but if it is, it will be a big deal. Journalist Tim McMillan goes into the dynamics of Congress requesting the UFO report and there being a delay. It's rather interesting. Let's dive in, fam. November 15th, Tim McMillan writes, at the 1st of October, I asked someone at OUSDI if an unclassified version of Arrow's UAP report was going to be released at the end of the month. They replied, there's no unclassified report coming anytime soon, but there should be another in the future, date unknown. As of November 15th, they remain correct. Later, Tim writes, to follow up on my earlier tweet at the UFO report, a report like this will typically have multiple agencies with multiple equities involved in it. Any one of those agencies has influence on what goes into the report or can veto how information involving their equities is shared. This creates massive bureaucratic obstacles, and very literally, there are a lot more people with the authority to say no and very few with the power to say yes. Even if you have a principal official like the Secretary of Defense or the Deputy Secretary of Defense step in and order someone to comply, any one of the agencies can initiate the reclaima process, meaning they formally protest the order and ask for it to be rescinded. It is for all of these reasons that I was absolutely stunned that the preliminary report was released on time. What we see now is much more on par with how the DoD operates. People can say, but it's the law. It's the law that the report be delivered on October 31st. Technically, yes. But these are more like guidelines than they are laws because no one is going to enforce anything. Tim continues. Even if Congress called the DoD to the carpet, the DoD is just going to say, but we just formed the office in June and 4 months isn't enough time, before tipping its top hat, strutting across the floor and singing, hello, my baby. My point? Perhaps the UAP report comes out tomorrow or maybe it gets released 2 years from now. Either way, I wouldn't hold my breath waiting on it. I gotta be perfectly frank. I'm tired of waiting. I'm tired of the obfuscation. I'm tired of the lies. I'm tired of the illusion that has blanketed our earth for 70 plus years. In my opinion, I'm tired of it. I recently read an article in the Debrief that published February 2022 titled, Why is the Air Force AWOL on the UAP issue? And I'm going to cover a few excerpts from it. It's an incredibly long article. It's like the size of a book. I've read it twice. I'm going to read it again, and I'll probably do a future video where I just cover that article exclusively. A link to it is in the description below. We'll go into it in a moment. But before I do, I just want to say that Stephen Bassett recently made a tweet that said, the world is desperately in need, I think, of a worldwide paradigm shift, I think is what his tweet says, but we'll put it right next to me. I do assess that we've been lied to about UAP. And I think the opening clip of this video clearly reveals my frustration. Some may look at me and say, this dude is off his rocker. This dude is delusional. And people who say that are entitled to their opinion. But I've looked at the 70-plus year history of the UFO historical record. And I've seen what's happened in the past 5 years. And while I'm absolutely open to being wrong, I put the probability that I'm right. And so I would argue that I'm the sane one here. I'm the adult in the room because I care, because I find something profoundly wrong in the world, that we've been lied to about this phenomenon. And even people who don't think that UAP represent non-human intelligence, there's a lot of really smart people that can't even get themselves to convey that there hasn't been an active campaign by the US government to mislead people on this issue. Whatever the ultimate truth is, something is not right, my friend. Even if it's not non-human intelligence, something is not right. And it hasn't been for a very long time. And I think that's an objective fact. If you do an objective analysis over the historical record on this issue, now I'm the sane one because I care and because I'm vocal about what's going on in the world and how this issue is being handled. From the aforementioned article by Chris Mellon, the UAP report to Congress last June was an opportunity for a fresh start for the Air Force on the controversial UAP issue, its first public test since the closure of Project Blue Book on January 30th, 1970. It was an opportunity to repair long-standing public distrust regarding UAP in the Air Force. Regrettably, by not being more cooperative, the Air Force, in many other respects a magnificent organization, has again raised doubts about its motives and credibility. The Air Force's continued foot-dragging on sharing UAP information with a task force created by the Deputy Secretary of Defense sharply underscores the need for more effective UAP oversight. One last excerpt from the article. The DNI's report cited 144 incidents since 2004 in which the U.S. military detected these enigmatic aircraft. Although OSD and DNI Public Affairs refused to clarify, it is my understanding that the U.S. Air Force contributed very few, if any, of the 144 reports. If one or two USAF UAP reports did slip through, they are at best the exception that proves the rule. Otherwise, it was virtually all U.S. Navy reporting. Notably, in 80 cases, multiple sensor systems simultaneously corroborated the presence of UAP. So as of today, November 16th, I have just got verification from a tweet by John Greenwald of the Black Vault. He received a signed letter from the Office of the Director of National Intelligence stating in writing that as of today, the 16th of November, the Congress has not received the classified report, but that it would be provided in quote-unquote short order. So based upon that language, I don't think you have to worry about the report being received 2 years from now. Short order sounds like it could be in the range of 2 to 4 weeks to me, but it remains to be seen. Nevertheless, it looks like we will get the unclassified report. I hope that it builds upon the preliminary report that we received in June of 2021. That's all I got. Not much else to say. I'm looking forward to receiving the unclassified report and discussing it with you, my beautiful audience. Please do not forget to subscribe. And if you'd like to support this channel, you can check out my merch shop where I sell t-shirts. You could become a patron. You could become a YouTube member. You could give me a one-time donation. All of those possibilities are in the description below. Or you could just slap a like on this bad boy and I'll appreciate it so much. Thank you so much for watching and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Special thanks to all patrons, YouTube members, those that have bought merch, those that have given me a one-time donation. I couldn't do without you. Thank you so much. See you in the next episode.